Good morning and welcome to Spill the Tea Tuesday. This
Good
morning I
morning.
have Amalia. Good morning, Amalia.
Good morning.
So the question today is, have you ever gotten emotional in the treatment room, like during service with a client?
Yeah,
And I know I just kind of spilled the beans and I was telling you this question a little bit earlier. You're thinking about it.
I am. Yeah, because, it's such an intimate service. They're completely exposed for like a waxing service. Usually I do Brazilians. Like that's the majority
Your
of my
thing.
services.
Hmm.
And so when they're open like that, I want to be open as well. And so there's this like bonding that forms between your waxer and the client. And I do find myself getting emotional a lot of the times when people are telling me stories. Oh, I have a crazy one, but I don't know if it would be appropriate.
It's all anonymous.
Okay. So,
Just don't use names.
yeah, well, I don't even remember her name. I saw her one time.
Oh,
And
lasting impression.
yeah, super, super. And I almost didn't know what to say because it was such a crazy thing that she just brought up. I asked her how her day was going, and we got into a conversation about how she's leaving Las Vegas and I wouldn't be seeing her again because, I like to know if they're going to come back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she told me she's leaving, and I asked her, "Oh, why are you moving away? What's going on? Like, are you for a job? Like,
Yeah.
what's it for?"
What's the story?
And she kind of paused, and she didn't know if she was going to tell me. But this girl actually had been sex trafficked by her boyfriend at the time. And he brought her to California and a hotel room there. And it was like super heavy, like a super heavy
So
topic.
she was like getting away.
Yeah. So she
It's
was,
like her escape plan.
well, not her escape plan. I think she had already gotten away from him, but he was very well known in Las Vegas. She said he drove like a golden, like
Bentley or something. I don't know,
something like
something
that. Yeah, like
crazy.
yeah, something crazy. And she didn't tell me his name, but she kind of described him to me, and I was like, okay, I'm staying away from people that look like this with a golden car.
Right.
Kind of hard to miss, I guess,
And
if you
not
have a
everybody
golden
has a golden car, so
yeah, but that was crazy. And I don't remember what I said to her, but I left there feeling like kind of like, I don't know, like emotional, of course.
Yeah, like sad for her,
Yeah, and that I
but
wasn't
maybe
going to
proud
see
of
her
her.
again.
Like,
Yeah, proud of her
doing.
that she was getting out of that, and on a healing journey. Like it's the very start of her healing journey.
Wow, there's a lot of trauma there.
Yeah, definitely. That was super crazy.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever like cried with a client?
Yeah, so I have a client right now who's become like a grandmother to me. I do her face, and we share stories back and forth. And in her age, there's a lot of people that are passing.
Yeah.
And so we have a definite bond where she'll be looking me in the eyes and I'll look at her and our eyes start to
Oh,
water, and like, she'll be telling me stories and I'll share mine, and we have a very empathetic connection
yeah.
where like if she's crying, I'm crying.
Yeah, yeah, it's like almost like channeling with each other. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's really
Wow.
nice. It's one of my favorite things about waxing is that like you really get to know people. You have like 15 minutes to half an hour to like an hour with them sometimes.
Yeah, all the walls come down. It's
Yes.
like it's just a
Yeah.
safe place.
And it can be
But
really
that's props
beautiful.
to you though, because that means you're allowing people to feel safe enough to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really what I try to cultivate in my space
Yeah.
because I really want people to feel comfortable. It's your service.
Mhm.
And whatever you feel comfortable sharing, you share, and whatever you don't, you don't. And I have tons of stories to share to
Yeah.
them anyways.
Yeah, I feel like all of us have like either a dark period in our life or something we've gone through as a child or a teenager or adult or
Right.
whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
we all have something to share. It's whether you're willing to share it or not.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like the more we talk about these things that we go through, whether it be abortion, rape, or, all the hot topics,
Right.
if you talk about these things, addiction, all of these things, then, and you talk about your experience, it allows people to feel unjudged.
Yeah.
And then they open and maybe share things that they don't even share with their family members or
Right.
friends. Like, but you're that space and you're that person that they can drop those walls and have healing moments with.
Yeah.
So you're totally right. It's like probably the top reason why I've stayed in the industry as long as I have
Yeah.
is because of those moments. And also too, like the gratitude that you get from
Yes.
people because of that.
Yes.
You know, like not only are we providing a good service and that's why they come back, and all, but they also come back because of you, you know,
Right.
as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something to be proud of. It's something I wear like a badge of honor. Like I
Same.
love
Yeah.
it. I love that part of our job.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know.
super proud of it when I become friends with my clients, and I know that whatever happens in the service room stays in the service
Mm-hmm.
room. It's a very trusting and just bonding experience
Mm-hmm.
in like an interesting way. I've had a client tell me that I need therapy because I'm doing such a crazy job. She's because it was her first Brazilian. She was like, I guess, in more pain than most people.
Uh-huh.
And she told me I need therapy, and I was like, this is my therapy. I get to tell people about
Breathe
my
in,
stories
release.
or that.
This is great. I feel great. You feel great?
This is going great for me.
This is great for me. This is so healing for me.
But no, when you really make those connections, it really is great. And they
It
leave
is
there
nice.
feeling like maybe a little bit lighter, I hope.
Oh, definitely.
You
Or
know,
like maybe even
emotionally.
reflect.
Yeah, and
Like maybe
reflect
they
on
reflect
things.
and they go,
Yeah.
wow, maybe I should maybe get a therapist and talk
Yeah.
about these things. I didn't realize it was like weighing so heavy on me or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, I I've gotten so in tuned, I feel like this last year. I mean, I've always had, I feel like a connection with people
Mm-hmm.
energetically, you know, all of those things, spiritually. But something about this last year, and I almost got emotional with my husband yesterday because we went out for lunch together and I'm turning 35 soon. And he was like, so, you know, you're 35, it's kind of a milestone, you're almost to 40. Like, how do you feel? And I just got super quiet and like my eyes got kind of teary eyed.
Wow.
And I was just like, the first thing that came to my mind, look at me, I'm getting emotional right now. The first thing that came to my mind was just gratitude. Just, I have so much gratitude
That's so
for
beautiful.
where I am in my life right now and what I've been through. Like, and I don't know if I've shared this before on other episodes, but I've been through some shit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or stuff. Sorry. I've, you know, I was raped when I was younger. I had an abortion when I was younger. There was lots of judgment. A lot of that I kept hidden, you know,
Yeah.
because out of my siblings, I was like, you know, at that time in my life, I felt like I was like the golden child. I was the one that was supposed to be the perfect athlete and this and that and blah blah blah. And I had no room for failure or mistake. And all, you know, like all of that. You know, I think people
Wow.
have these things that happen. I was in an abusive relationship before my husband, you know, like it's just there's things that I've been through that I think I harbored and I felt heavy
Right.
and
And the shame
almost,
and the guilt that follows that, the
yes,
secrecy that you
yes,
have
the
to keep it to
secrecy,
yourself. Yeah.
yes, all of that. And also too, there were moments where I tried to seek help, you know, whether it was my mother or somebody else, you know, and I felt shut down, you know, like why did you put yourself in that
Oh
situation
no. Yeah.
or things like that, and the blame and the guilt and the
Yeah.
judgment and all of those things. So I feel like this last year especially, there was you know, like just a big weight lifted of just acceptance and almost like pride
Mm-hmm.
that I've been through these things and I'm still where I am in my life
You've come so far.
and I still consider myself kind, you know, like I think when people harbor those nasty things, it can make you nasty.
Right.
And when you look on it, reflect on it, whether it's the universe or God or whoever you believe in or what you believe in, it's like you were put in those places in that time and that moment for a reason. And those reasons don't always click, you know, until maybe later on, you know, many
Right.
years later. You know, for me, um, having gone through the abortion, still I would feel sad at moments. I would think about it, like all these things, right? Like, how old would this child be now if I hadn't had the abortion? All those things. And
Right.
then I had a moment where I had a client come in, and she was almost like an energy reader, and she was channeling like with me and stuff. And I at one point just like let down my guard. And a lot of people tell you like that's not always safe, to do,
Yeah.
because then they can find your deepest, darkest corners of in your life too.
Yeah. And
But
you're also teetering the line of like what's professional, what's not, maybe
exactly.
in some people's
Yeah.
eyes.
Now I've worked with people who do Reiki and this and that and blah blah, but never have I had an experience like I did with this woman. And she just knew like all of these things that, I mean, how would she know these things, right? And I said, well, let's start your treatment. Like this is fun, but let's start your treatment. So I go to the treatment room and doing her facial. And she's just like, you know what? I'm just getting so much from you. I'm just going to keep throwing it out there until you tell me to shut up. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
I'm, mid massage, she brings up the fact that she feels that I'm a mother. And I said, yes. I said, I have two boys, and for everyone out there, like I do have two boys, 6 and 7. And she says, she was, yeah, you're a mother, but you've had 3 pregnancies. And I got chills up my arms.
Whoa.
That's not something I just go around
Yeah.
and tell everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Like I didn't say anything else. I was just kind of flabbergasted. And she goes, no, no, no. She goes, I don't know if it was, something traumatic or this or that. She goes, but you did have 3 pregnancies. And she's like, I feel a lot of sorrow and guilt and judgment. And she's like, she stopped me in my massage, and she kind of reached up and like held on to me. And she said, it's okay. Like, you don't have to feel sad.
Oh
She's
my
like,
God.
she says it's okay. I never knew, like, if it was a boy or
Wow.
girl.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah, I never knew. But she's like, she says it's okay. Like, she's proud of you. You can let it go. There's no judgment. I'm crying.
Oh.
So that was a big moment because I always kind of wondered.
Yeah.
So kind of pull it together.
Take your time.
So after that, like I went home and I told my husband Bo, and I was just like, that was just the craziest thing. I like cried in the shower. I cried the whole next day that I was off work. And it was a really cleansing moment
Yeah.
because I didn't realize how much I was holding on to this guilt of just my own personal experience. I thought I had went full circle already, but I didn't. There is
Yeah.
still some left to go. So I felt very much like there was a weight lifted.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, like I can move forward. I don't have to drag this sadness around anymore. There's acceptance and there's
Right.
peace now.
Right.
So when my husband asked me that, at California Pizza Kitchen eating our salads, and I got emotional, it's because of that big moment that I had. And I do feel healthier. I feel wiser. I feel lighter, and happier,
Yeah.
for all of those things. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it. And I think that, for anybody that's been through some trauma of any kind, reflect on it. Reflect on it. It's ugly,
Yeah.
it's messy, but it's okay. And it's
Absolutely.
always going to come out to be better in the end.
Yeah. And I had a friend, she has a lot of wisdom. She's only a couple years older than me, and she was talking about emotions and how they come in waves. And one of her therapists told her about how this metaphor of how you're supposed to ride the wave, because if you think about it, like if you try to go against it, the wave's going to overpower you.
Gobble you up.
It's going to cause issues, right? You're going to tumble around in the water, whatever. Whereas if you ride the wave and you accept it and go with that flow, then you're able to kind of heal yourself a little bit more each time.
Glide in the end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally see. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that one.
well, having shared that story, that is a story that I felt like was shared in the treatment room. I had tears running down my face in there,
Yeah.
and
How could
as
you
you can
not?
imagine,
Yeah.
yeah. But then even after that, like I felt like almost every client I saw for the rest of that week, it was very emotional. Like it was like I was on this path, and
You opened up.
yes, and I was almost in tears with like almost everybody that week. And we're all hugging at the end. And I mean, at some points, hugging when I had just finished a Brazilian, this person's like Winnie the
Yeah.
Pooh, pantsless, sitting up and hugging me, and we're crying together.
Yes.
So, have we gotten emotional in the treatment room? Yes.
That's amazing.
I feel like if we're good at what we do and we provide a safe environment
Mm-hmm.
for those things to happen, then yeah, you're definitely going to have some tears
Yeah.
every now and then. Also, too, tears of laughter.
Right.
I have laughed so
I
hard
was
that
just
I've
gonna say that. Yes, I'll be laughing so hard. I'm like, I feel like everybody in this vicinity can hear me. Like the next studio's over can hear me laughing.
This whole building can hear
Yes.
it. I mean, I've almost peed my pants. I've cried laughing so hard, crossing my legs, like, please, I'm gonna pee my pants.
I really love it when you get them to laugh too, because I feel like that's also like helping them get through. Like, waxing is not the most like pleasant treatment, so
Right.
if you get them to laugh, it just moves things along so awesome.
And it just lightens. It like cuts the tension. It lightens the mood.
Yes,
I had
absolutely.
she was having a really rough morning. You could just tell. You can just like read the vibe.
Yes.
You could just tell. And we were done. kind of just chatting and whatever. And we were done with the service, and it felt kind of heavy, like she had vented a little bit and it felt heavy, and it was just quiet. There was like a moment of silence. So I tell her, okay, put your hands up. And I have a hydraulic table, and she puts her hands up above her head, and I move the table down, and I'm like, wee. She's like, oh my God, you're such a freaking idiot. And she's laughing.
It's the little things.
It's the little things. You gotta do it. It's so much fun.
The funniest thing that happened to me recently was I have some clients that are more like, you're more sensitive to heat than other clients. Like you could be on one day and not feel as much pain as another day. You know, your body changes from day to day. But I have this one particular client who's really sensitive to heat.
Okay.
And so if you don't have the wax hot enough, right, you can't really spread it well. So it has to be a certain temperature. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm not going to burn you. I know it feels uncomfortable, but like, let's just get through it together. And so I was applying her butt strip, and she felt really uncomfortable. And I was like, the other day I had this idea of like blowing on the strip to like cool it down. And then I was like, I'm not going to do that. She was dying. Like,
just blow at her
someone's butthole.
How does that feel?
Better? I should really get a fan, but she was laughing so hard. It was so hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I thought about it, and I decided it wasn't the best course of action. Maybe not.
Amalia, this is a good one. Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Spill the Tea Tuesday today. If you guys have any ideas or you want us to chat about certain things, hit us up on our Facebook page. It's Eden WSB. Oh, sorry, scratch that. Reverse. Eden_WSB. And that's our Facebook page. Just throw out a comment on there, like what you want to hear us talk about. If you have a certain question of like what has happened in the treatment room. I mean, we went a little deep today. A little bit. That's okay. I feel better for it.
Give us some gnarly questions. I love the fun ones.
Yeah, the fun ones are really good. Okay. Until next week. Bye-bye.